founder at the Yes Works, and what we do here is company culture engineering. We're helping you and your team cultivate the kind of culture where profits and people both rise, and people are having a wonderful time working hard, delivering results, growing as people, becoming and feeling fulfilled and rewarded for working together. Today I want to talk, if you've been following me at all, you know that I sometimes rail against what I call conventional unwisdom. And the conventional unwisdom today that I want to talk about is the idea that you've got to let people vent, that the pressure builds up and you've got to let people vent, that it's healthy to vent in the workplace or to go home even and vent about the workplace. So that is some of the conventional unwisdom. You've got to relieve the pressure. And I'm calling it conventional unwisdom because I believe, and we have found, that venting is in fact fuel for drama. Whether it's fuel for drama today or fuel for drama in the future, regardless, it is fuel for drama. So let's talk for a moment about the word venting. Venting is something that you do to a boiler, right? This is a pressure tank. It's something that you open up the pressure tank, you open up the boiler to let a little bit of the steam out in order to bring the pressure down so that the pressure in the boiler doesn't build to the extent that it is overpressurized and it will explode. So certainly we do want to avoid explosions in the workplace, and the form that explosions take are outbursts, fights, people suddenly and unexpectedly leaving the job. Those kind of explosions we definitely want to avoid. And the problem with venting is that it doesn't lead to progress. Whatever it is that was causing that pressure that needs venting in the first place, the causes of that pressure haven't gone away. So you've got no progress. And then very often, what people term venting is really it's whining. It is what some wise folks in my earlier career, when I was venting, called pissing in the well. Aaron, they said, you are pissing in the well. And think about all the implications of what it means to be pissing in the well. We've all got this water that we want to be drinking, that we need to be drinking. Water is the stuff of life. And if you're pissing in the well, well, then you are polluting the very source of life. If you are putting toxic material into the minds and hearts of your teammates, then you are polluting the very stuff of life that is your company's lifeblood, that is your the lifeblood of your own fulfillment. It is not, I'm going to assert, not healthy to vent. Let me take a moment and say, that this pressure comes from discomfort, comes from displeasure with the way you're being treated, with resentment. It comes with feeling as if you're not valued. There are lots of ways that this discomfort can be caused, and absolutely, discomfort is something to pay attention to. We want to give this discomfort voice. That makes sense. Discomfort is a signal. We don't want to ignore the signal. And if you, one of the problems with venting that I haven't named, right? The no progress, it's related to that no progress idea, is that you lower the intensity of the signal so it no longer feels like it needs to be acted upon when you vent, without actually addressing the root causes of that discomfort that was the signal in the first place. Venting creates numbness. It creates a dissensitivity to potentially meaningful, potentially important problems. So you're now numb to the problems that exist in your company, in addition to potentially pissing in the well. So we want to give respect and honor to those signals of discomfort without lowering the pressure and squandering the opportunity, without also gaining progress in some way on whatever are the root causes of that discomfort. So Let's talk about what are some of the things that we can do instead of venting. And some of this may seem like semantics. I think semantics are often some of the most important things. The subtle realms rule when it comes to building effective culture and the behavior of human beings. So, uh, one thing that is really valuable is to name the emotion that you're experiencing. I am frustrated. Whether I'm frustrated with you or whether I go to some third person and I say, I've been having this interaction with Robin and I am frustrated. I am frustrated. I'm naming my emotion, taking responsibility for my emotion. I'm not saying Robin is frustrating me. I'm saying in my interactions with Robin, I am frustrated. Now, there are a couple of valuable pieces to this. One is I am naming this is mine. I am frustrated. That is mine. It belongs to me. Robin is just the environment in which I am frustrated. So taking responsibility is always a powerful step. The second thing that is really valuable is that it does kind of lower the intensity without lowering the signal, without just dismissing the signal. When we name the emotion that we are feeling, frustration, anger, sadness, any of these things that we tend to call negative emotions, naming it takes the heat down a little bit and allows us to scrutinize the experience, to investigate the experience with our minds instead of only with the kind of alarm bells. And alarm is a great analogy for these negative emotions. If you think about a smoke alarm, right? The smoke alarm goes off in your house. Venting can be just turning off the alarm, right? Okay, I've now disconnected the smoke alarm from the ceiling. I've taken out the battery, and because of that, the alarm sound stops. I don't need to do anything else, right? Uh, Turns out that doesn't actually save you from the fire. Saying, all right, got it. What I'm hearing is an alarm. That is the smoke alarm. That is the frustration alarm. That is the anger alarm. If you name the alarm, then you can kind of chill out a little bit and it leaves your mind open, prepared, and ready to look at what is the cause of that alarm. Is it just that we're cooking and as some of us have sensitive smoke alarms in our homes, maybe the house is arranged so that just the regular odors from cooking can trigger the alarm? Or is there something more significant happening? Is there something more important happening? Was there a kerosene soaked pile of rags in the corner of the garage that has now caught fire and the flames are starting to lick up the walls and that's what's causing the smoke? If we just say, okay, there's the smoke alarm, I wonder why it's going off, then we get to find what are the root causes of the alarm. The alarm, again, is that negative emotion. Another thing that we can do then is we can go, when I say venting is unhealthy, I'm not saying that a third party is unhealthy. Going to someone else and asking for their reflection, asking for their perspective can be incredibly valuable. Okay, you were in that meeting. Robin said this. I said this. Robin replied with that. I'm feeling really frustrated. How do you see this? And getting their perspective. I can say, well, I can see why you'd be frustrated. Here's how I took what Robin had to say. It sounds like you thought Robin was attacking your idea. What it seemed like to me was that Robin was trying to pressure test your idea and make sure that it was sound before we put it into place. I think Robin, in the end of the day, was all for your idea. And so sometimes hearing from somebody else about their experience, or even if they weren't there, having them ask us questions that can help us reflect on our own experience, that can be incredibly valuable. Now we're investigating what are the causes of the alarm. What are is the alarm functioning properly, or is the alarm malfunctioning? Is it a false alarm, or is it a real alarm? Is it there something that's actually triggering that alarm in a way that is functional, and so therefore we need to address what's happening? Uh, and then the third thing that we can do, and the last thing that I'll mention for today, is that we can then set a plan of action. What am I going to do about it? I'm frustrated by uh, the fact that I don't have the tools that I need to do my job. So my plan is to go to my manager, explain calmly the situation while I'm not in an agitated state. I can schedule a meeting with my manager to talk about what are the tools that I need and how do they see the opportunity for me to get those tools or get that training. Go and talk to Robin. Potentially, on rare occasions, say, you know what, Robin and I, we don't work well together. Is there a way to separate us so that Robin can be effective and I can be effective, and we together aren't creating the kind of friction that might lead to an explosion down the line? Creating a plan of action self responsibly. What am I going to do to improve the situation so that I don't keep triggering these negative emotion alarms? So that is the third thing to do. Instead of venting, either on your own or with the help of someone else in your organization or with the help of a friend or even a spouse, to say, this is the experience that I'm having. I want to take responsibility for the experience that I'm having and for the context, for the scenario that is creating that negative experience. And I'm going to make some changes in order to have a more satisfying, more fulfilling experience at work. Those are the three steps. Incredibly, incredibly valuable steps, far more valuable, far less toxic than what we may think of as venting. Now, last bit of guidance here is that it is incredibly important to choose your audience wisely. We may have a tendency to go to someone who is going to express all empathy, all sympathy for what you're going through, which if that's all they've got, may add fuel to the fire of your discontent. Right? Somebody saying, "Oh yeah, Robin really was a pain in that meeting." You are right to be frustrated with Robin, right? That is leaving it there doesn't really vent effectively, and it certainly doesn't lead to any productive change. It adds fuel to the fire. It's more piss in the well, if you will. It is not the somebody who is going to do that. A gossip, for example, is not where you want to take your alarm for somebody to help you scrutinize what are the causes of this alarm and what can I do about it. Instead, go to someone who will help you take self responsible action, who will provide a cooling effect on the heat of your negative emotions and really provide perspective that will help you really be self responsible about your own experience. We don't make each other feel anything. People do that, do them. Everybody in our lives, they're just doing them. And the negative emotions that we have in response, those are the emotions that we choose. All right. I hope that I have made some impact today. I hope that this has been valuable. I hope that for some of you, I've changed the way you think about the value or perhaps the toxicity of venting in the workplace. Once again, I'm Aaron Schmuckler, and it's been a pleasure to have your time and attention today.